Hello everyone, Paul Santilli here at Intellicon 2024. I'm with SCIP, a Strategic Consortium of Intelligence Professionals. And Intellicon 2024 Nashville is an amazing event. I'm here with my very good friend, Ed Allison, who's a partner at Compete IQ.
Yeah.
Welcome, Ed. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Paul, for the opportunity. Great event. Every year it takes a little bit of a different flavor. Your fingerprints are all over this. It's been great. Thanks for the opportunity.
I'm hoping the fingerprints are nice and clean, though. I don't want dirty fingerprints. I'm hoping that's a positive thing.
Yes.
But I appreciate it very much. Thank you, Ed. Yep. So, being Intellicon, the theme of Intellicon is AI in the competitive intelligence and intelligence ecosystem space.
Right.
This is a topic that I think, as you know, with the advent in this and the potential for great things to happen around AI, it all has a very scary side effect and all these kinds of things. So events like this, especially in the competitive intelligence space, are really allowing some good conversations to be had around what are those benefits and what are those risks and what are the things that we should be looking at.
Yep.
Now, with your organization, tell me more about Compete IQ before I start asking you some in-depth questions, please.
No problem. Compete IQ is a competitive intelligence platform, SaaS, and we help teams win more deals, but also learn from those deals as well. We do that because we are a platform. Competitive intelligence, what we enable is an organizational-wide approach.
Yep.
Sometimes competitive intelligence can be the little guy or gal in the hall, in that office that no one knows about. We say, no, let's make this a core function. In order to do that, you've got to have good information management, ranging from news monitoring, websites, the whole lot of monitoring, to newsletters, to publish, to win-loss, to learning. And you got to be integrated into everything. So we're a platform. We try to build the platform that supports the function or the department.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah. So you have a lot of clients, obviously, you're client-facing, customer-facing with the SaaS solution. So to the point that I was making around the theme of Intellicon and the AI and the CI development, what are you seeing in the client base around this? Do you see people embracing it, word about it, probably somewhere in between?
Yeah.
Help me understand some of that effects.
It's shock, really, right now. And I don't think there's a single theme. I'll give you some specific examples. We have had some organizations that literally said, you cannot use AI in the organization. They're worried about governance. So they try to lock it down. For those of you that are old enough, remember when the iPhone came out and you weren't allowed to use that in the enterprise. I've seen organizations say no AI because they're worried about not sticking on message, hallucinations, everything. Two, ones that are very much embracing it, and ones that are really experimenting. I think AI to competitive intelligence has been a huge holy cow. What do I mean? Everyone knows it's here. I don't ever know that everyone knows how to really utilize it quite yet. And so there's really a mix there. And I think the biggest struggles for customers are, how do I use it? How do I apply it? How do I measure it? Everybody knows about it.
Yeah, of course.
So my perspective of customers is shock. What do I do next? And I think that's where the market is right now.
So we've heard today and yesterday's presentations about CEOs' perspectives and a lot of organizational perspectives, and it's exactly in alignment with what you're saying. So a lot of folks don't believe it. They don't understand it. They don't understand how the future perspectives are developed and the algorithms behind the AI methodology. So they're hesitant because there isn't a form factor that has a lot of credibility, a lot of validity to it, right? So I know there's that apprehension in the environment.
That's true.
What are those kinds of things? I mean, the kinds of discussions we've had at Intellicon, for example. What are those things that really would help your client base, our customers, our CI professionals in the world? What would be those things that would help them gain that sort of acceptance around this? What are some of the things they're looking for?
I'm going to answer and add a little flavor.
Of course.
Okay. So when you think of the application of AI, how can it help? One way is in the sales process. Okay. How do I sell against a competitor X? And the problem here is an extension of an existing problem in competitive intelligence. Going to be bold. Everybody, let's relax a little bit because it's going to get crazy. We're hitting turbulence. A lot of competitive intelligence today, be it done with some of the systems that are out there or even internally, it's hard to define what is just a generic product marketing document and what is a true CI deliverable. We have some ideas around that, but let's just say they should be two different things. And when you look at the way AI can help, it can actually bring us out of the generic, which might be more product, we're the best, the cheapest, the fastest, to actually answering a question with trusted data and facts and specificity to build trust.
Comfort level.
How am I different? If your battle card really can't prove that, you're probably not doing it. And the problem when you apply AI to the battle card problem, specificity, interesting, and true, you get hallucinations, you get generic statements, etc. So AI, when you try to apply it to battle cards, has gone down the path of just more marketing. There are companies like mine and others that aim to fix that problem. And there's a million different techniques. Many have been spoken about in these sessions. And I think that's what people should really take away from this is it is like fire. Let's use it the right way. You know, some of our secret sauce is the ecosystem and calling on specific controlled data stores to eliminate the hallucination and to increase the specificity. One of our clients, as an example, has thousands of products, some that are only differentiated by their metal finish, chrome, bronze, brushed nickel. When you're doing a battle card, chrome, bronze, or brushed nickel in some cases really, really matters.
It does.
You have to be that specific. If your motor draws 12 amps versus one that draws 12.5, it's got to be able to say 0.5 matters. Because over the lifetime of that engine, it could be hundreds of thousands of dollars, $1,000. So the secret to winning the great differentiation is specificity. AI can help us in that, but you need to harness it the right way. And the scares that you're finding is people go into ChatGPT or some other tool and they say, tell me the difference between this thing and this thing. And one, it's very generic. It might be a poem. And two, the hallucination problem, when you dive into specificity, is very, very real.
Of course. Well, you know, the ChatGPT format is simply just a regurgitation of what's in the web.
And we know if that.
And we know that's filled with a lot of untruths. So you have that great risk of using that as your marketing tool, which can be fraught with inaccuracies.
That's true.
You know, so your specificity thing goes out the window, right?
You must be specific because our reputations are on the line.
Of course.
As competitive intelligence professionals, if we're going to draw a line in the sand and say I'm different because it's got to be real, it's got to be true. And that I think is the challenge we had in the past. AI is, if anything, bringing that more to light. Because when we first saw it, everybody thought, this is it. I've got it. Well, the thing is, so does your competition and so do your customers.
Accessible to anybody.
Exactly. And really, as we've grown, because we're growing too, we have learned that, like, okay, this is a tool, a powerful tool. And what we're doing is working to harness the detail and the specificity to create that value.
So we've heard of many of the discussions going on over the last couple of days around the value that's being utilized today in the AI space is really around the heavy lifting, the analyzing of the data, not necessarily regurgitation of what's out there, but the analyzing of the data that's coming in, the inputs. The objective or the golden egg that we'd want to get is where AI can tell us what's going to be happening so that we can prediction and the prescriptive element as to what to do when you predict
what actions to take.
But we haven't seen that, and that's because of all the reasons we've talked about, with hallucinations and the CEO untrustworthiness and so forth and so on. So given that, that's the usefulness of AI in today's intelligence space is really around that analytical part of their value chain, in my opinion. That's how I would phrase it up. So are you able to look at your clients and offer the AI heavy lifting element as maybe an area where they can start gathering some of the AI experience and building up, because I mean, you build up the level of trust with small wins. Right?
Agreed.
And that's really the kind of approach I always tell my folks that I talk to and the other organizations I speak to, is you got to build up the credibility of your organization through small wins.
That's true.
And ultimately at the end of the game, you have to be what I always call incredibly credible.
That's very true.
You know, so that's why I think is how we need to approach this from a client standpoint.
And again, I use this as a case study. Obviously, I'm going to reference the data I'm most familiar with, my company.
Of course.
Suppose you have 200 or 300 win-loss stories. Okay. What does that mean? right? And that's the problem. So AI today, what we could do with that before was visualization. We lost because of prize, we lost because of relationship. So, but what we lose in visualization is the human element, the story.
Yeah.
AI today can look at that 200 or 300 win-loss stories and start to give us the reasons, the stories in a narrative.
Yes.
So that's very, very effective, and it really changes the game from things like this. And the prescriptive is the interaction with the AI. So I can have AI summarization, that's Gen 1.
Right.
I look at all this data, or I filter the data, or identify the data, summarize this for me. Tell me the so what. Awesome.
Yep.
But now, when we talk about prediction, I'm going to ask you a next question. Who am I? Am I the business development that's looking at merger and acquisition? Am I the sales leader that's trying to put in place a sales training program?
The personas make a difference.
Huge difference.
Yeah.
And so let's say I've got those 250, 300 win-loss reports, and I am the merger and acquisition person.
Yep.
I might ask the AI, please make me recommendations, but it comes from my needs. So AI first is kind of, let's say, coded or encoded responses like summarization.
Yeah.
But now the next generation is to open that up to interaction.
Right.
The role comes into matter, and then the problem is the more you open it up, you risk accuracy, specificity, hallucinations.
Exactly.
So again, that's where you have to control the data set and how it behaves and how, if you will, loosey-goosey it can be. And these, I hate to be so technical, but these are all parameters of interaction, which in our case can be controlled by the client. So you can have it write you a song about your strategy if you want, but if you're more of the finance type, you probably don't sing anyway. You just want the black and white answer.
Of course.
So I think that you look at AI, you've got what it can do today, interactivity. You might only also want to allow you might not want a salesperson to have interactivity.
Right, exactly.
Because it goes off the rails.
You got to have certain administrative rights to do certain functions in the tool set.
Exactly. So it's again, I think we're all looking for the footing.
Yeah.
I think that the tool is incredibly powerful. I think it's going to change the game in many ways.
Yep.
The one thing though on AI, and I'll just offer this as an insert, is a lot of times competitive intelligence professionals are tasked with producing work product. Reports, deliverables, that means PDFs and PowerPoints and Word documents.
Right.
And us vendors have kind of sometimes said, well, let's use the application. And we're not producing those things. I think the next thing you're going to see AI do is actually deliver work products.
Right.
PDF, we do it today, but I think you're
outcomes.
going to see it because people are going to want to get away from sitting in front of a computer or a tablet, doing what we're doing. Here's a document, but that document may have been produced 5 minutes before I walked into this room, and it applies to you. It's a deliverable.
It's the what, so what, now what approach, but at the same time, what the AI tool set can help us achieve is as close to real world as possible.
That's right. That's right.
Because the value of the intelligence diminishes greatly the longer it is from the time of acquisition to implementation.
Totally true.
So that's the thing that I think we all have to struggle with.
What if I had a business card that said, hey, Paul, great talk, and it was a business card. And I printed it out 3 minutes before coming in here. That's the AI that is a small representative, but it's changing the world.
It is. It is.
I think people are scared of it, but know they're going to need it.
Yeah.
We got to help them through that.
And as with any new technology, if you look through history, there's this wonderful opportunity for it to bring some real goodness to society, to organizations, and profitability, and all of that kind of thing. But there's also that ugly side.
There is.
And that's a whole nother conversation we could do a podcast
Yeah,
about.
big time. That's true. That's true. I think some careers are going to be made and possibly broken.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly
with some
right.
Of this. Yeah.
Exactly right.
Yep.
Well, in closing, Ed, I want to thank you so much,
You're
very
welcome.
much for joining us on this and for supporting IntelliCon and SCIP. You've been a long-term supporter.
I've been here since the early 2000s.
Yeah, so I really appreciate it. Thank you
Great.
again, sir.
Thank you very
Pleasure
much.
talking with you.